We're joined now by Col Hassan Stan-Labo, who is a retired Army officer. Thank you for coming on again today.
Thanks so much, Germany.
Well, much as there's a lot of focus on this now, and perhaps to, say that they're continuing in that stead, aerial bombardments now, we understand, of Sambisa Forest. This was something that happened previously while they were dislodged, but now that they've gone back to this, many will wonder, is this, much as it does fall in line with them trying to also keep up with that directive from the CNC, but what kind of effects do you think this will have? Because they say it's based on fresh intelligence that they've gathered.
Yes, the aerial bombardments will go a very long way in helping the ground actions that would that's expected to follow. In most cases, aerial bombardments would help in doing what we call softening of the ground for infantry to move in and be able to hold forth.
Yeah, but that happened before.
Yes.
The aerial bombardments.
Yes.
So the infantry at that time, what happened? They didn't move in, or they moved in and came back out?
What do you think is the size of Sambisa Forest, Chamberlain? For your information, is beyond the size of Lagos State. We are talking about now completely getting the entire Sambisa, look, well soaked in. A situation whereby the military can confidently say, we have cleared this area. These are professionals at work. They know what they are doing.
Sure, they are professionals.
Yes.
You know the gist, making the rounds then.
Yes,
now you're talking about intelligence report,
yeah,
which is very key here. And the fear there was that our girls, our children were in the forest.
Yeah.
Do you think, when we talk about intelligence report, perhaps they have been taken out of the forest, making, giving the military the confidence to go in an all-out raid of that particular forest?
You see, we can't just sit here in the comfort of our air-conditioned rooms and want to direct the affairs in Sambisa. The gentlemen or the professionals who are there acting are working on a huge quantum of intelligence, which we are not privy to. And of course, a good number of the intelligence they are working with, they are working that is informing their actions, are not things that should even be in the public domain. So at best, we as ordinary folks out here can only just support their actions and let them know, look, we are with you, forge on, go ahead. We don't have to even question why you are doing this, why are you doing that, and what is informing this and that.
Why not? As we ask, I will also be interested in getting to see that there are some form of results, positive results.
Yeah.
Now let's key this in. Shekau, for a long time now, no one has seen his video, and just when they said they have taken him out as the helmsman of the group, he's speaking not in a video this time, but in an audio recording. What does that tell you from your intelligence?
Shekau has died several times and resurrected several times. I think our main concern, or collective concern as a nation, is to get this insurgency dealt with once and for all. Shekau could continue to die and resurrect, but we want to make sure our territorial integrity is safe and preserved, and every Nigerian is safe on the Nigerian soil. If our military can do that for us, which they are doing, fine. All we need to do is to just support them to do it, irrespective of how many times Shekau resurrects.
But it's a legitimate question to find out, whether or not, because I think the last time we saw visuals, I think last time when the military went on an aerial bombardment, they did release videos of Boko Haram, suspected Boko Haram fighters escaping on motorcycles and vehicles from the Sambisa forest. But then we also had that the military freed lots of women and children who were also in that forest as well. So people they actually have legitimate concerns that if we're bombarding Sambisa forest aerially, we could also be doing damage to a civilian population there. Don't you think so?
Yeah, you are quite correct, but I want us to bear something in mind. A great deal of intelligence has gone into this. After the initial bombardment, you agree we've had some lull, and then now we have fully resumed again. the lull to us is because we are not hearing the bombardments are not going on, but a lot of intelligence is going on. They are busy capturing, working with a lot of information, and they know what they are doing, they know where they are bombarding, and so on. There are equipments that could even let you at times know what sort of hardware might be hidden in certain places. And if you suspect those hardware very much, you might want to dislodge them to make sure they are not workable. And of course, in doing that, you first of all try to confirm to make sure that the amount of human presence in such areas is reduced to the minimum, barest minimum. We cannot fight this without some amount of collateral damage. We shall be deceiving ourselves. Okay, but like you said, I am also concerned that I hope we don't end up picking these same girls we are looking for. The girls, of course, represent everybody that is of civilian within the Sambisa and so on. We must try as much as possible to minimize the collateral damage. But definitely, we cannot outrule collateral damage in this sort of warfare. No way, to be very frank.
Well, no doubt, in almost all warfare we have that, but how to reduce that to the barest minimum is very key here. And still talking about the girls, lately we have seen series of suicide bombings being carried out by young girls. What do you think we should have done to ascertain or verify if these are not the same ones? Bring it into perspective, DNA matching, to see if these suicide bombers are not good girls who were taken into the forest or taken into an unknown place.
Thank you, Suleiman. I only hope what I want to say now will partly answer or be a good response to your question. I'm still wondering why, till now, we are a bit hesitant at, introducing this ban on the wearing of hijab, like it's been introduced by our neighboring countries, Chad, Niger, and I think Cameroon, some 2 weeks or so, also introduced it, and so. Even if it means we just suspending the wearing of hijab, even if it just means within the theater, so that after the entire war is over, we could resume. We know it has some religious implications, so we have to be a bit cautious the way we call for such introductions of such innovations. But it's something I think is a sacrifice we just have to start, or we should make up our mind to do now. Okay, so that to a greater extent it reduces the way these girls are introduced, into these things, because we all know how the hijab covers it. If you are to be dressed in your simple skirt and so on, the way my is, I'd wonder how you want to hide anything there without anybody seeing you.
You know what I'm driving at? Yes. I'm trying to look at, that was why I said let's look at the DNA perspective.
Good.
We have a bunch of missing girls.
Yeah.
And we have suicide bombers as young girls.
How are we sure the girls are not being used?
Good.
Yes.
Why haven't we as a nation tried to match some of the DNAs of these suicide bombers after their death to see if they can match with those or anyone we've been looking out for? Because at least we still have the families.
I agree with you. It's something we could try, but I wouldn't know if it's already been done. There are lots of things going on that are not in the public domain. A lot of things. I discovered this of late. And of course, you wouldn't blame anybody. These are issues that probably border on national security. So they are not things we can discuss here. They are not issues which can just be placed out there.
So how do they get the public's buy-in and confidence that yes, indeed, they're advancing, and properly and rightly so too?
When the need to know comes, they will release such information.
Okay, they will determine
if released, yeah, because the timing also matters. There are information you could release too early and it becomes rather injurious to the entire process. So we must take all this into
because, for instance, now it did appear that the president has a perspective, a yardstick for this fight against the insurgents, because during his inaugural speech,
yes,
he also did speak about this after saying, yes, the command center will be relocated to Borno. He also said, but We cannot claim to have defeated Boko Haram without rescuing the Chibok girls and all other innocent persons held hostage by the insurgents. So that seems to be some sort of yardstick. It means that, yes, we're still looking, they also focused on that, but who knows if they've been used for something else, as Suleiman did ask.
As far as the Chibok girls issue is concerned, I mean, I would say that we can only continue to hope and pray that nothing is going wrong with these girls. And that is why at times some of us are very hesitant to say, no, we shall not negotiate. You dare not say that. If your daughter were to be among those girls, are you sure you still confidently sit there and say, no, don't negotiate?
What do you think? We should negotiate?
We have no option, my brother.
Do we know if they're alive or not?
That is one of the more reasons why we should negotiate. We should be able to ask these guys at the negotiating table, are our girls still alive? At least by then there will be a truce, and we shall now be talking.
And people say that, you know, we should negotiate, but we should negotiate from a point of strength.
I was coming to that.
What does that mean to you?
Yes, from a point of strength, and that is why, thank God, the bombardments are going on. Once, and I want to say this before I go into what you've just said now. The last, let me say, brigado we witnessed from Boko Haram, as exemplified partly by all the suicide bombings and so on, they too are aware that, look, we are all drawing closer to a point of negotiation. So each side wants to prove a point. And that is why I'm very impressed with what the military is doing. Serious pounding should now be going on, such that by the time you get to the negotiating table, I don't need to tell you who I am. You already know who I am. When I'm beginning to lay certain conditions down, and you don't want to maybe play into it, I say, well, at your own peril. And you know what I mean by at your own peril, because you know I now mean business. They are also aware that there is a change of leadership at the national level. We now have somebody with a soldier's mind at the helm of affairs, with some wealth of background behind him. Somebody who would not want to play with the situation, so who is in a race to clear off with this and get moving.